Have you been wanting to dabble in Instagram a bit and kind of thinking, well, maybe you're starting to using it a little bit more and wondering which of the features should I use? What's going to be the most effective for me to grow my following, get more engagement, and help me grow my business? So today's episode of Brilliantly You Business Show, I'm going to be doing some sort of Instagram basics and 101 and help you just to see how you can use each of the features, the core features, and really the purpose behind each of them. So you can have a clearer strategy and gain some clarity around how to use it with intention and actually drive your business forwards. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Stick around for this whole video. I'm also going to share with you some things that actually Instagram recently released in terms of how they show your posts and show you posts as a consumer as well. So that's going to be super awesome and valuable for you. In case we're meeting for the first time, firstly, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me and sticking around in this video today. My name is Jenny Stevens, and I'm a marketing and mindset coach. So I love helping home business entrepreneurs learn how to build their business online in ways that lets them attract people to them, creating a business around the lifestyle that you want. So I love teaching about automation and systems, and also the mindset piece that goes with it, the stuff that keeps us stuck and playing small. So it's all about helping you to create more sales and impact without the self-doubt. Let's talk about Instagram then. So who's currently using Instagram? I am falling a little bit more in love with it the more I use it. And so I've really been, learning myself, playing around with things, particularly kind of the start of the year. So in January, I really stepped things up a notch. I'd been using it a bit, but not consistently and not really utilizing it to sort of its full potential. And there's still so much that I have to learn and test out and stuff. But I wanted to share some of those core basic things with Instagram, because I think more and more people are now starting to look at, how can I use other platforms? How can I repurpose content elsewhere? Because it's not about, recreating and doing double or triple the work depending on what platforms you're using, but how you can use it effectively and smart so that you're actually just very easily resharing work that you've already done. So I'm actually finding that I'm doing more things on Instagram now, and I'm sort of reducing just ever so slightly on Facebook. I definitely, as a consumer, I find myself more on Instagram nowadays than I am on Facebook. And so it's been quite a nice change, Facebook, especially the last year. There's a lot of negativity and politics and COVID and arguing and people, and it just gets a bit much. So I found myself, I don't know whether you can relate to this, kind of looking for more uplifting places, purposely looking at other things. I even got into TikTok a little bit. So, and I'm going to talk about some of those things in today's episode. But whether maybe you're not using it yet, or you're just starting to use it, or you're curious about, you want to start using Instagram, then say this is going to help you. And Instagram actually also released the other day an article to help creators understand how the algorithms work, how they actually prioritize what's seen to who and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to share a little bit of that. That'll be super helpful for you. So say if you are currently using Instagram, just let me know in the comments. Like I say, I'm not an expert by all means. I have really just been using it more, and say I've been, purposely wanting to learn more myself, been testing things out. And this is just some of the things that I have learned so far. And I see experts and hear, other people who are a lot more kind of, what's the word I'm thinking of? They're a lot more seasoned, if you like, to it. But yeah, I'm loving it. I am really enjoying it. One of the things I think I like the most is, I love Facebook as well. And there's pros and cons to both. But with Facebook, especially business pages, that's where I do 95% of my business stuff is on this, on my business page on Facebook. But unfortunately, Facebook do, the organic reach is so small that you have to pay to play. And I do a lot of paid ads anyway, but the last year I had to reduce my budget a lot with all of the stuff that happened last year. My income dropped. And so I focused more on the organic side. The thing I like about Instagram is because it's kind of a bit of an even keel. It doesn't really matter if it's a personal one or a business one. From what I'm aware of, you don't get more or less reach depending on what kind of profile you've got. And it seems to be that you can actually get your posts seen by a lot more people naturally and organically. And that's what some of the things I'm going to share with you today. So I'm just going to cover the 3 core features that you can use on Instagram and help you to understand what the purpose of each one and how you can really hone in on utilizing, whether it's all 3 or if you want to just focus on one. But it helps you to see, well, how might you be able to utilize each feature effectively and certainly working smart, so you're not like creating loads and loads and loads of content over and over again. But it helps you to see how you can really help to grow your audience, build up the relationship with them, and obviously then get them to convert into leads and sales. Okay. So the first one I'm going to talk about then is the feeds. So that's like the main images, it's the grid post is what a lot of people call it. So that's going to be what most people will know Instagram for, is the feeds, the grid post. And so this can be a mixture of, predominantly, in the past, it was always just an image. But, you can add in a single image. You can add it as a video. You can also create a carousel, which is multiple images, which they're really effective as well right now. So it's the real visual piece. Think of it kind of like, I like to think of it as sort of the visual shop window, because people will go to your profile and they'll see what's on your grid to get a bit of a sense of who you are, what kind of content you're going to create. And so this side of things, I was super inconsistent before. I utilized stories more, which I'll come on to next. But I wasn't really doing consistent grid posts. So that changed in January, and now I create one a day, and it will be a mixture of different things. So the purpose with the feed is, this is where you can give a bit of a bigger caption. So they kind of think of it like the description in a way. Here is where you really want to make sure that you use hashtags. So from a lot of people that I follow and I've learned about, everyone seems to recommend to use you can use 30 hashtags in one go. So everyone that I follow and say I'm learning from, they all say to always use all 30 hashtags for maximum reach, because people will search in the search feature, and it will bring up, you can search for hashtags, or you can click on a hashtag and get a whole, all the public posts with it. I've just recently started using a great app called Hashtag Expert, where you can actually put in kind of like a core base hashtag, and it will automatically give you lots of other commonly used hashtags to save you having to do loads and loads of research yourself. So I've just started using that literally just this last week. And so I'll share more about that when I've kind of got some more data and metrics and stuff to go by. But it's definitely a really kind of easy way to add your 30 hashtags. People say to do it kind of you can do one a day or 1 to 2 a day. I'm personally just doing one a day. I don't want to overkill stuff. And also it is the time to create, in creating it. But, kind of recommend one a day. And these can be a mixture of different things. Like I say, it can be a single image. So maybe it's more of a personal post. Maybe it's a picture of you or you with your family, or it could be a picture of you at your desk, and maybe you're just sharing a bit of a story, and give a call to action. You might share some like motivational quotes, something inspirational. There's some nice little There's some great stuff in Canva for you to get ideas of what to post. I like to mix things up. So it might be one day, might be some kind of inspirational, motivational thing. Another day, it might be something valuable. Another day, it might be something else, and covering some of the other features that I'm going to talk about. So the feeds is kind of like, I like to think of it as like your shop window. So think about, how might you better mix things up and make it so it's a really good, it's an easy way for people to see what you're about. Because if people do come across a post of yours or they come across your profile, they're going to look at that. They're going to look at the bio. They're going to look at your feed. So you want it to be really clear with what you do straight away and think, yeah, I like the look of some of this account. Okay. So that's where the feeds and the grid posts can really be useful. The second feature is that's where I mostly sort of started from, really utilizing Instagram, and that's stories. So I love creating stories in Instagram, and I actually link my Facebook business page to it, and it will go out to both places. So, I've already halved my work, which is great. So you can do that. You can connect your Instagram profile with your business page, or if you have a personal Instagram, you can link that to your personal profile on Facebook if you want to. So I do mine. You can't seem to do it the other way around, which is strange, but hey ho. So I do my stories on Instagram, and then I will dual post them. So it will automatically then post those stories to my business page on Facebook as well, which is great. Now, stories are for your kind of everyday moments. It's for the behind the scenes, getting to know you as a person, as a whole. It's great to kind of share your day throughout the day. And it's just, the purpose is really to help nurture those new relationships and your existing audience. So with stories, only your followers can see them. So think of it like your stories is there for you to nurture your existing audience. So it's great if someone's just started following you, then the stories is going to be where you're going to nurture that relationship, help them get to know you, showcase who you are, share your personality, all the awesome value that you can provide. I use stories as well. I will share everything else that I do into stories. So I'll touch on that once I've covered kind of all three things with how to really maximize that for you. So stories can be a bit of everything. So with stories, it's like, well, how many times should I post throughout the day? Again, everyone's different. I was listening to a podcast the other day where this lady said that she does kind of one every few days. I personally like to do at least, 2 to 3 a day, or even if it's one. The thing with stories is if you use Instagram or Facebook, obviously, the Facebook owns Instagram. Is that at the top you get the row of the stories. So how it works, if you're not quite sure, stories is basically whoever you as a consumer interact with the most will be first in the line. And so kind of thinking about it, people will check stories throughout the day. And so I personally would say do like at least sort of 3 a day, and spreads them out as well. If you do all 3 in the morning and then don't do anything else, those people that might see that in the morning, they're not going to see you again until the next day. So try to think about how might you be able to create some, and it can be so simple. And again, you can have such a nice mixture throughout the day, whether you do 1 or 2 in the morning, something mid afternoon or something, and then maybe something in the evening. Just start small and then you can build up from there. There are days that, I might only post 1 or 2. I tend to kind of share my morning workouts, my little Apple Watch screen when I've done a workout. It's kind of like a bit of accountability for me as well. When I share that, and working out and prioritizing my health is something that I elevated the priority last year. So it's a nice way of kind of showing, look, you can prioritize this. And then I might share, there might be pictures of the cats, if it's a nice sunny day, if I'm out for a walk. But then I'll also then post engaging things. So the great thing about stories is it is great for engagement. It's great to actually strike up conversations with your audience. So there's some awesome features in stories. You can utilize little GIFs and stickers, they're called. There are things like polls, questions, Q&A, a bit of a quiz. There's all these great features that people love to interact with. So if you can, the more things that you can use that actually require people to touch stuff, meaning on the screen, it's actually going to boost how much people actually engage with you. So I love using polls. So it's like yesterday I posted a picture. I created a new podcast cover. So I wanted to get some feedback. So I kind of had one on the top and one on the bottom as a picture, and had a poll, one with an arrow pointing up and one with an arrow pointing down, saying which one. Or it might be maybe you share something and like, do you agree, and have a yes or no. Or it's great for getting people to raise their hand if they're interested in something. If you've got an event coming up, if you're doing a webinar, if you're doing a free challenge, you can use polls and stuff like that to get people to say yes, they want you to send the details. So they're a great way to be able to encourage interaction. It's a great way to encourage people to raise their hand, like I say, with interest. It's a great way to then actually have a conversation, because every time somebody responds to one of those little features, it goes into your inbox. And so then you can actually, you're having that one-on-one conversation where you can reply and say, great, thanks so much. What was it about this that interested you? Or if they said yes, they want the deal, say, awesome, great. Here's a link where you can sign up for this free challenge. And so you can actually have more one-on-one conversations, which is great then again for building trust. They're going to see, oh, you're a real person. You're not just some spam bot or whatever. You can then ask questions and build up that relationship. So I love using stories for those day-to-day things. And also you can create highlights. So if you look on my Instagram profile and anyone else's, most people will have these highlights. So they're kind of like albums, if you like, where you can save certain stories that you want to. So it's a great way, again, to showcase who you are, what you do, what you promote, what you sell. And you can have little albums. So I've got one where I share my, because I take this video. So every week when I do this show, I edit the video and I upload it to YouTube, and I also upload it to IGTV, which is a fourth feature, which I'm not going to go into too much today. But IGTV is basically like your longer form videos. And so then I share that. Once that has posted, I then will share that into stories so people can then see, oh, I've got this new video up. And so then I can actually save that story into a highlight reel I called it free trainings. So every single week there's a new one being added in there. So if somebody wants to have a look at my free trainings, they can see what the topics are and actually go and watch that video. And in the description is then a link to whatever I'm promoting. You can do the same for, again, your grid post. You can share that into stories. Some people, I covered this recently, but not everyone is going to look at all features on Instagram. So this is kind of one of the things that is going to be really helpful for listening to this whole video today, is how can you use all the elements to get maximum reach? Because it's about, not, some people are going to love looking at stories and they may not even scroll through their feed. I don't do it a huge amount. I definitely watch stories, is like my number one. And then when I come to the third feature, that's kind of number two. Right now, it wasn't. And then I do a little bit of scrolling, but not much in the feed. Other people, they're going to love staying in that feed area. They might utilize the explore, which is kind of like the search. And then you've got reels, which I'll come to in a second. So stories, I pretty much share everything, no matter what feature I'm using. I pretty much share everything into stories so people can see, oh, there's a new post, oh, here's a new video, here's a new this, that, and the other. So it's great to kind of showcase everything that you're doing. Okay. So yeah, the highlights are great. You can then create an album that's like, testimonials, client feedback, reviews, stuff like that. You can have one that's maybe a bit more personal. You can have, so many different ones. So go and have a look around on Instagram. Look at people that you follow. Or if you're not really using it much yet, just start. Have a look at people that you like to follow, maybe on Facebook. Find them on Instagram and have a look at kind of what they're doing, what their profiles look like, to get some ideas. So that's stories. Then the third one, which is the hot trend right now, and that's reels. So reels, if you're not sure, it's basically, Instagram's version of TikTok. So Facebook, they always like to create their own version of things that are hot right now. Facebook Live came from Periscope. That's what I started out with, doing live videos back in the day. Then Facebook created their own. Stories came from Snapchat. So many features. So now Instagram/Facebook have created Reels, which is their version of TikTok. I resisted TikTok. Does anyone else, like, I resisted TikTok? I don't know if anyone else can relate to this. I was like, don't really get it. Like, sort of just dancing and, these people doing these routines and stuff. And I'm like, really? I just didn't quite get it. And then I was just getting bored of kind of Facebook and even Instagram a little bit. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sign up on TikTok just as a viewer. And oh my God, I've had so many nights where I've just been crying with laughter, and it's just been so good for your own kind of consumption, so it's not all serious and doom and gloom kind of thing. So I've ventured and done a few TikTok videos, but I just love watching them. And so now I'm starting to watch more reels because, like I say, it's their version. So reels, if you haven't, I was talking to somebody yesterday who hasn't got the feature on their app yet, and I was like, really? I thought everybody had it. So maybe you don't have reels yet. So just keep looking out for it when it comes out. Like I say, I thought it was across the board, but maybe it's not yet. So the purpose of reels is it's short, fun, and entertaining videos. If you do want to laugh, definitely have a look at them. They are funny. And as well with TikTok, I cry with laughter quite often. It's good. You can lose quite a lot of time with it. So just a warning. But it's not just for that dancing. That was kind of my preconception was, it's just people doing these dance routines. And so actually, when I again sort of got on TikTok, and now now more and more people are doing reels because they are so hot. More and more people are using them in an effective way for business. So if the thought of doing dance routines or even miming, like I did a couple of mime ones recently, don't just know that you don't have to do that. If that's not you, you don't have to do that. There's actually some really great things, and maybe I'll do a whole other episode just about reels. Like I say, I'm just starting to dabble more into them, so I'll kind of do more of a deep dive into reels when I've done a bit more myself, and again, I've kind of got some more knowledge and tested some things out myself. But you can do ones where it's just you talking and giving a few tips. They're 30 seconds max. So actually, like, these videos can go quite long. I can talk for England when I get on a roll. And actually, I have found when I've recorded a couple of value post reels, actually, I'm quite surprised at how much I can get in just 30 seconds. So it's certainly a little test for me. And if you can talk too much, or some of your videos can sometimes go a bit long, have a go with it, because it's a good challenge. But you can do, where you just give 3 quick tips and just share a couple of lines on each one. You can do sort of some more fun ones. If you don't even want to talk yet, you can just simply do sort of pointing and text bubbles, which you'll see. and just have some music as the sound, and then you can just be pointing for different things. That was how I got started. It's just because it was quite that was easier for me to do. There was less resistance for me to do, feeling like, oh God, I feel like this old woman trying to get on with all the cool kids. But actually, it's not just for the young, teenagers. There's actually a lot of people and of all ages utilizing TikToks and Reels. And so, some people are just so clever and so creative that I'm like, oh God. The cool thing actually about these style of videos, though, is actually you don't always have to be completely unique in terms of they work by trends. So there will be trending audios. So either like a little music track, or it can be like snippets from films or TV programs that you can kind of mime to. So say I did a couple recently, so you can check out my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, by the way, definitely do, because I'm definitely doing more over there. So you can follow me at Jenny Stevens Coaching. Come and follow me there. I'll follow you back. But yeah, I'm loving it right now. And so you'll get to see as well the sorts of things that people can do. So the trending audios is really key when it comes to Reels. Reels are public. So unlike stories, like I mentioned, where stories are only seen by your followers, Reels are public. So what I'm learning is that Reels is kind of the go-to thing if you really want to get reach, maximum reach. You can have, I did like a silly one the other night, not last night, but the night before. And within 20 minutes, I think within 10 minutes, I had something like 500 views. Within like 20 minutes, I had over 1,000 views. But then I did one yesterday and it only had something like 80 something views. So you kind of never know what's going to really go out there. So that's something that I'm going to be testing out more, is utilizing more of the trending audios and see how well things do in comparison. But the trending audios is what Instagram are going to push those more, because they want people to interact. They want people to engage, to like, to want to make their own version of that. So that's kind of the cool thing about TikTok and Reels, is that it's almost a case of people will remake a video in their own style. And so how you can actually relate this back to business is you might see a video like a reel that is about, somebody might be doing something about parenthood, but you can still take that same audio track, the same concept, but make it about business. And so that's kind of what I'm playing around with now. So like I say, definitely watch this space. And like I say, I'm going to be testing a lot of things out, but the only downside I will say with Reels is that, and the bit that I'm slightly struggling with, is that creativity. It's coming up with the ideas. So that's where I'm following more people. I'm saving people's Reels that I enjoy, and audios for ideas, and then making, so that's helping me to create them. If you are a super creative person, then go for it, do what you want. But that's the thing, you can get ideas from other people and then put your own spin on it, which is cool. So Reels is kind of like, that's almost the thing that's going to help you to grow your reach, to get more followers and get more engagement. So that's almost like the top side. So that's where I'm going to be really focusing on Reels more in the coming weeks and months, to really help grow my following. My following has been growing really nicely since January, when I started ramping things up. So now I'd like to kind of take it to the next level. Then once people are kind of in my network, and so if you then start bringing people into and start following you, then the stories and the feed, the grid post, that's where you can start building up the authority, your credibility, nurturing that relationship, and obviously then promote to whatever it is that you do. So that's kind of almost like the process, if you like. So you can see that each one of them has got different things. Your grid post can also be found. There's a piece called Explore, which Instagram say, again, they will they will look at various things to put it in the explore page. So if you were to go in there and then put in like a certain keyword, for example, you would get a load of results. So this article that Instagram released the other day, they talked about how they wanted to help creators and people that use Instagram learn a bit more about how it works. You know, people are always talking about the algorithm. And so they talked about saying, well, there's not just one algorithm, there's multiple. So just a couple of things on what they talked about. So when it comes to grid posts, so feeds and stories, it's very much they will show you, the consumer, people that you follow, like your friends, family, and people that you interact with the most first. It's kind of recent, and most people that you engage with. So that's where, you know, being consistent is going to be really beneficial for you, and to really encourage the engagement. They look at certain pieces, like when your post were, like what time of day your post was done, how long the content is, how much people are engaging with it. They'll look at you, the creator. They'll look at how much the audience, how, when they were last recently, you know, if they'd engaged with you before and interacted with you before, based on how much they push it further. And so, and the same with reels. Again, they will look at the audios, you know, so that's where the trending audios is going to be really helpful to get more people seeing your stuff. That's where I think maybe the one that did really well the other day, because it was a maybe it was a more popular audio potentially. They will look at, like I say, they'll look at your interaction. They'll look at your audience's interaction with you, the people that you are interacting with. And so that's where they then will showcase the posts that they think are the most popular. That, you know, if you have had a post that obviously has had more engagement, more likes, comments, stuff like that, shares, saves, they're going to push it more. So yeah, it was quite interesting. I'll share a link to the full article so you can just kind of have a look through it. But certainly it's definitely worth noting that with Reels specifically, utilizing that almost to bring more people into your plethora, into your space. Have some fun with it. Like I say, it doesn't have to be all about miming and dancing. You can really lead with a lot of value. And you don't even have to talk. You can say, you can just use music, and you can kind of point with text bubbles, and then maybe you start just every now and then. You can do ones where maybe you give a couple of tips and you're talking. The thing is that they are short and consumable, and that is the biggest trend right now. I don't know about you. I know for me, I don't watch a lot of long videos if I'm just in that consumer mode. If it's something business related, then it might, I'll dedicate some time to watch like a webinar or a training or something. But if I'm just kind of mindlessly scrolling on the sofa in the evening, I'm not going to watch long videos. So these short snippet videos and stories are great for getting some value across, showing people who you are, who you help, how you help them. Let them know what products and services you've got. Let them see who you are, see your brand, who you are, what you care about. And because it is shorter, more people are going to consume it all. Whereas, with my long videos, people might only watch the first couple of minutes, maybe. I have people that will hopefully watch the whole thing. But that's where I then take even this and I'll create other bite-sized pieces of content to help get the maximum reach. So I utilize, grid posts where I share bullet points from this every week. When I do my live video, I give kind of what's called a carousel post, which is a grid post where you can have up to 10 images. They're really great. I then will share I share everything that I do, reels, grid posts, IGTVs, everything I share into stories. And then you've got the reels. Like I say, I'm just starting to do some of these now. So like I say, I'll cover more of that in another episode. But yeah, so the thing I say, Instagram is great. Like I say, there's pros and cons. There's things I prefer about Facebook over Instagram, but it doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm team Instagram or I'm team Facebook or anything. It's about how can you utilize the platform. If you want to try and grow your following a bit more, bring more people into your network, then Instagram's a great way to do that. I feel like it's slightly less pressure than kind of being like Facebook friends with someone, so that's kind of how I find it a bit easier to network with people and, like I say, follow more people and engage with them on Instagram, whereas I don't necessarily want to have everybody kind of in my Facebook friends list. So that's kind of how I really see the potential of Instagram and see how it can be really utilized, is helping to grow your audience, have some fun, say bring out the fun in you with things like reels and stories, and share the day-to-day life with you, and just look at, what can you learn from it. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to be everywhere and do everything. But even if you just start small, start with a couple of things. Start with doing one post a day. You can use, like I'm using Canva. I make all of my graphics and stuff in Canva. They have a scheduling thing in Canva, and you can post to your Instagram business profile from there. The same with Facebook. So you can schedule things ahead of time if you don't want to be doing everything daily. So I use that for my, main grid posts, and then the day-to-day stuff with stories is just throughout the day. And reels, I'm trying to do, I want to try and do like a few a week. Some people are saying doing one a day. That might be a bit of a push right now, because they do take a little bit of time to think about what are you going to do, how are you going to structure it, then you've got to record it, and then you've got to add the little text bubbles, add the music and all that kind of stuff. So they do take a little bit of time to sort of create and produce, but they are quite cool as well. So I'm just trying to get myself more into that, and I want to try and do a few a week and then go from there. So yeah, so say have some fun with Instagram. Like I say, I'm really enjoying it. I'm doing more stuff over there. So if you want to come and hang out with me over on Instagram, you can follow me at Jenny Stevens Coaching. I've actually just changed my handle on my Facebook business page to the same, because it was Jenny Stevens UK. So I've actually just changed that the other day to match. So I'm sure I've got links out there in the online world that now won't work. I wanted to make it consistent. Yeah, so say, and what do you love about Instagram? If you find yourself using Instagram, do share with me. What do you love most about Instagram, or what features do you find you using as a consumer? And also, are you doing anything for yourself with your business? Would love for you to share that with me. And if you haven't got the Reels feature yet, I hope it comes for you soon, because it's definitely fun. And you can even, again, it's all about repurposing. You can create the thing in TikTok and then you can add it into Instagram. One caveat I will say to anything like that is each platform wants it to be native to their own. There is a cool little trick where you can actually create it in TikTok. Then there's an app that you can use that removes the watermark. So for any of you that are using TikTok and Reels, don't just share your video into Instagram as it is, because you'll have a TikTok watermark and it will actually get less reach. So there's actually some apps and there's some websites where you can put in your TikTok link and it will remove the watermark. And then you can download that video and upload it to Instagram. I was trying to find one to do one the other way around yesterday and I couldn't. So I think I'm going to have to remake a video, which is annoying, but that's a kind of an extra little bonus hack for you. Or equally, just record, if you're not even bothered about TikTok, just record it straight into Reels and have some fun with it. So yeah, so that was kind of what I wanted to share with you today. I didn't want to go too, there are more, there's things like IGTV and other things, but the main things is grids, stories, and reels. Reels is for your kind of top of funnel, if you like, getting more reach, getting more exposure, bringing people into your space. Then you can utilize, the grids and stories for more interacting with your existing audience. The feed post, the grid post can also be public as well by really utilizing hashtags. So it's kind of, it's bringing people into your ecosystem. The reels at the top, the feed is sort of almost in the set in the middle, and then you've got your stories for your existing audience. So have some fun with it, play around with it. You can't mess things up. It's just a case of having a go and trying it. So I'd love to hear from you if maybe you aren't particularly using Instagram yet or any little bit. Are any of those you think is something you're gonna have a go at yourself? Are there any things that you think, yeah, I particularly liked one particular piece? Share that with me below. I'd love to hear what you took from today and what you might be inspired to go and try out yourself. And let me know how it goes. And obviously, as I say, the more I try out and get more results and experience and stuff, I'll be sharing more with you. But I wanted to at least do this kind of 101 for Instagram to get people started, because I know not everyone is using it and say, I'm kind of late to the game, but hey, you're never too late to get started. So just have a go. Anyway, that was kind of all I wanted to share today. I hope you found it valuable. Do feel free to like, comment, share this with anybody else that you think would find it useful, and have an awesome rest of your day. Have an amazing weekend, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.